For some reason, there has been an overwhelming amount of rewatch podcasts lately. Some of these podcasts are better than others. My personal favorites are The Office Ladies and Back to the Bar, The Office and Dance Moms. I love those two. But those have been around for a while. It seems like the ones that have been around for a while are the better ones, and some of these that are just now popping up are just not that great. Christy Carlson Romano is one of the reasons why there's so many popping up right now, because she started a podcast hosting company called Podco. And if you don't know Christy Carlson Romano, she was Kim Possible. She was Ren Stevens, Cadet Kelly. You know her, right? It seems like everyone on the internet is yelling at Christy Carlson Romano for capitalizing on nostalgia. In my opinion, it's just like, it's not that serious. If it's what the public is consuming, then good for her for making a business out of it and capitalizing it. You do what you gotta do to make some money. In 2020, I was actually a fan of hers when she had a cooking show on her YouTube channel where she had cast members from different Disney shows come in and make, like they had the guy from Hannah Montana make cheese jerky. Say what, cheese jerky. Like, those were some good episodes whenever the world was in shambles and we needed some good entertainment. I think we all can agree. But as she's been back in the spotlight for the past few years, she's caused a little bit of controversy. And basically, the consensus I'm getting from the internet world is that people think she's annoying and problematic. But there are plenty of videos about her on the internet. This is not a video about her. I just needed to mention her and get you a little acquainted with who she is, because she has to do with this topic we're talking about, Pretty Little Liars podcast drama. Her company, Podco, has a bunch of rewatch podcast, and it came out that they're going to be starting a new one called Pretty Little Podcast, something about true crime and stuff. It's supposed to be a rewatch podcast of Pretty Little Liars with two cast members, Jenna and Paige. Odd pairing. Very odd pairing. If you've seen the show, you probably know that I don't even know if they ever had one scene together, and neither of them were like core members of the cast, so it's just kind of like feels odd, just odd. Also, the internet generally loathes whoever the actress of Paige is because of how cringy she is in the Ned's Declassified rewatch podcast, which I didn't watch Ned's growing up. I'm not a huge Nick kid, so I haven't seen the Ned's rewatch podcast, but people are just saying she's kind of cringy. People just don't like her. That's the consensus on the internet, whether or not that's the right thing to think. I'm just telling you what people think. So it seems like the internet in itself is not excited about this, because whenever she's involved, they kind of just like, ew, I don't like her, I'm not going to be consuming this. I think it'll be interesting to see how this rewatch podcast plays out, because they're going to add in a true crime piece to it, having detectives on, and usually rewatch podcasts are just like not that serious. So when you add the true crime part, it just, how's this gonna work? It's gonna get deep, isn't it? And why? Pretty Little Liars is not that deep. It's just not that serious, you guys. I'm a huge Pretty Little Liars fan. Love Pretty Little Liars content. I would, can, and have watched hours of video essays about Pretty Little Liars on the internet, and I would not take back a second of that time. I'll probably watch the first couple episodes of this podcast, but I'm not like all that interested in true crime, so I'm just like, I don't think it's my thing. So the other day I saw a TikTok, which brings us to the reason of this video right now. They were kind of upset about this rewatch podcast called Pretty Little Podcast. Yeah.
They announced launching a podcast called Pretty Little Podcast. Love the name. It just really familiar. Oh my god. Because it's
this girl apparently has her own with her friend. They have their own Pretty Little Liars rewatch podcast called The Pretty Little Podcast. So we've got Pretty Little Podcast versus The Pretty Little Podcast. And I hope you're staying with me here. The Pretty Little Podcast has been already up on the internet for like 2 years now. So this girl who has the existing podcast DM'd the new podcast saying like something lighthearted. I'll put it on the screen here. And apparently everybody was commenting and tagging her and this podcast that's already existing in all the comments and everything. People were like, dude, there's already that name is taken. What's going on? Then the new podcast posted about how everything was fine. We DM'd with the creator. We might do a podcast swap. And then she was like, dude, you're confused. We never talked about doing a podcast swap, but okay. And then things got a little messy when one of the Podco employees commented on this situation, and he kind of like acted like he was trying to stir the pot. Why are you making a huge fuss about this? He was all like, the original cast. Ugh. I don't like that energy. So basically, a few days went by, and the new podcast, Pretty Little Podcast, changed their name. They said they were going to change their name. That never happens in this industry, apparently. Apparently it does. This is the first time I can remember a bigger celebrity or influencer really doing the right thing when it comes to something like this. We've all seen Jaclyn Hill, and I love me some Jaclyn Hill videos, but we've all seen her rip the rug out from under an existing company, creating a company with the same name, and she never addressed it. She just made jokes about trademarks. That was it. She didn't address it, and this girl changed the name of her company because of it, and then Jaclyn ended up disbanding the whole company. So what was that for, Jaclyn? So I'm glad someone finally did the right thing. And I think other celebrities and creators need to take notes from how this was handled. It was handled pretty well, despite the fact of the Podco employee made that comment. That was just the only bad part of this. That was just not good. Why is it never in the question to look up a company name, a podcast name, before you go ahead and do all the steps to get it ready? Why are people forgetting that very important step? I don't understand. This is my third time starting a YouTube channel. Every single time I would research names, like, is there already a YouTube channel with this name or with a name that's similar to it? And I'm not a big businesswoman, celebrity, content creator. It's not that hard. I don't understand. And these people, most of them have teams behind them that should be helping them, managers and things like that. Why is it so hard? I don't know. It's really not that hard. These people should just know better. Well, that's a rundown of the Pretty Little Liars podcast drama. Let me know what you think in the comments. Will you be listening to this new true crime with the original cast rewatch? Or are you going to be listening to the existing one? I have listened to a couple episodes. Love. And what do you think about the pairing, Jenna and Paige? Does it seem a little off to you? If you don't know who I am, my name is Andrea Jackson. I am 25. I live in North Carolina. I make videos about literally whatever I want to make videos about. But if you enjoyed this video, then you'd probably really enjoy my video where I ranked Disney shows versus Nick shows. I enjoyed making it, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. So you should watch that if you really liked this video. Thank you guys for watching all the way through. Hope y'all have a great day. Goodbye.
Watching you was such a thrill.